Phillipsburg Town Council meeting, August 28th, 2024.
Calls for the read the Open Public Meeting Act.
This meeting is called pursuant to provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of August 28, 2024 was included in the list of meeting notices sent to newspapers of record and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice has been made available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk.
Thank you. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilman Skirbo, would you please do the invocation?
Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. Amen.
Amen. Susan, roll call, please.
Councilman Clark. Councilman Kennedy.
Here.
Councilman Skirbo.
Here.
Council Vice President Boyce.
Here.
Council President Meyner.
Here. Bills list, please.
The regular bills list as of August 28, 2024 is $462,836.82. The prepaid bill list is zero, for a total of $462,836.82.
Any questions on the bills list? Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo.
Yes.
Council Vice President Boyce.
Yes.
Council President Marino.
Yes. Okay, the minutes of August 14th, 2024, regular session minutes. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call on that one, please.
Councilman Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo.
Yes.
Council Vice President Boyce.
Yes.
Council President Marino.
Yes. August 14th, 2024, executive session minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo.
Yes.
Council Vice President Boyce.
Yes.
Council President Marino.
Yes. At this time, Mayor, would you like to give a report?
Yeah, I just have a quick update tonight, and this comes from something that was brought up last meeting at just a little after 5 tonight. The NJDOT did approve our ordinance for the truck route in Phillipsburg, so there is some more steps that have to go. If you don't mind, if Tim could just give a quick update as to what has to happen to go forward. Just so it was asked last time, so I thought maybe a refresher would be appropriate.
Okay, Ken.
So DOT has approved your ordinance that designated the roads for the truck route. That was the major step. The next step is the town will take the process to adopt ordinance to have enhanced fines on roads over 5% in the town. Significant, several $1,000s each incident. And then the town's going to start the process to purchase and have the designated truck route signs installed.
That's about it. That's where we were at.
Okay, any
So that was a
questions?
big step, and everything else is internal. We do have to do, I believe we have to go back to our sign inventory, get pricing on the signs, because it may have changed from the last time. Requisition and fund those signs. So.
Correct.
Any questions from council?
I just wanted to thank you, Tim, for, I know I've been probably a thorn in your side with this, but trucks were a thorn in the side to the people of this town. And this is a great step forward. Everybody's going to appreciate it. And hopefully we can move forward as fast as we can to get an ordinance in place and get those signs up and relieve everybody of the truck traffic around there. Thank you.
Tim, just one question, so that clarification on the Hipford Avenue, United States Route 22 to Marshall Street, so that's on the eastbound side, correct? Going towards New York?
I have to double check that particular spot.
Yeah, because Marshall Street's parallel to Route 22, so the only part of that would be,
Yep.
there's no parking on that street by the community college.
It's decided by, so there's a loop for the designated route that brings any trucks basically coming down Marshall Street
Right.
to get back out to 22.
Yeah, that they
So
can't
they
get
make
out.
the right at the old car dealer,
Got it.
and they can enter 22. If we didn't have that loop, then they can continue down Marshall by forcing them there. Any truck that makes delivery to, say, McDonald's, the oil place, further down, they would actually, they make a right out of those stores, they have to go out to 22.
Or in case that garage would ever activate again for selling cars or whatever.
Correct, and
That's all.
that kind of covers all your highway commercial right there. For the down Marshall, it's all residential.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Anything else, Mayor?
Not tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Public discussion on agenda items. Just state your name. 3 minutes.
Joe Meyner. 170, R175. 6 brand-new heavy-duty pickup trucks. I assume it's for snow and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it seems like a whole lot of, who said they needed it? Who authorized it? Give me a little bit of strength
Sure.
to why that's a lot of.
These were capitalized in previous years but never acted upon. We went back to previous capital budgets. We have like a 450 that would be considered heavier than a regular pickup truck, more for snow. The 350s are good for town operations. They're a little heavier than, let's say, a 250. We have a lot of maintenance that's been going on, welding of bodies that have been rusted out, things of that nature. They do a good job, and they have done a good job in the past maintaining them, but at some point, I would say the snow, salt, and regular wear and tear do wear on the vehicles over time.
This is 6 of them in 1 year.
Yeah, well, it's not just 1 year's worth of capital. These were capital budgets that were passed, approved, and held for previous years.
But they're all delivered now, not over as the trucks wear out. That
We probably should have a rotating schedule. You know, like I said, our guys, they have done a good job maintaining the vehicles over time. We probably should have, as a town, been a little more proactive in rotating those in and out.
would have spread the monies.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, Joe. Anyone else on the agenda? Thanks.
Dan Boyce. Concerning the stop sign on Irwin Street, there were some things that came up. I used to live on Irwin Street, and I would constantly walk out in front of people that were speeding up there because of the kids playing. The excuse, I know that a couple councils ago, don't remember when, they voted to put a stop sign at Schultz and Irwin, and it was vetoed by that mayor at that time. Then last week it was said that you couldn't put a stop sign if there weren't school bus stops or something. There's 2 school bus stops on Irwin Street that I know of, unless they changed them, one on Henderson and one on Schultz. Okay, I mean, it is really, thankfully you haven't had any kid that has been hurt terribly or killed. But they do use that. If you can't put a stop sign, put speed bumps in. I mean, I know somebody said you couldn't do that because of snowplows. Well, if you go up to Newark, they have speed bumps, 2 of them every block.
There's an ordinance to put a stop sign.
That's why that's
okay.
what I'm saying. I'm behind it. I'm saying, I'm hoping that you agree and go for it. It is something that is,
Yeah.
will be beneficial there.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I won't veto.
Sorry if I screwed you up on
No,
the.
I'm sorry.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on. Ordinances for the second reading. I'll read them. And anyone who wants to come up and discuss it, you're welcome to it. 3 minutes left. Ordinance 02024-18. Ordinance amending 67-17S Schedule 1, no parking.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone from the public? Seeing one, hearing no one?
I
Joe?
have a question. Is that the new, it's, I don't know. Never mind, I'll ask the other attorney. Never forget, I'll find out later.
I do. We'll show it to you if you like to. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Scarbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Ordinance for the second reading, 02024-19. Ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, renaming Needler Avenue from the intersection of Fisher Avenue to the intersection of Anderson Street, consisting of approximately 1,090 feet pursuant to NJSA 40:67-1K.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion from the public? This is the renaming of the street. Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Scarbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Okay, ordinance first reading is here. Oh,
You can
yes.
vote.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Ordinance 02024-22. An ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg amending Chapter 29, Development Fees. Motion? Need a motion?
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Anyone from the public?
That's first reading.
Oh,
There's
oh,
no
excuse me,
public
excuse me.
hearing. That's first reading.
Excuse me, it's my fault.
I don't know.
Okay, it's my fault there. Ordinance for the first reading, 02024-20. Ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, New Jersey, approving an application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement for tax exemption for urban renewal project with respect to Block 1005, Lot 3, 540 Marshall Street. This is only for the council to discuss. Any discussion on that one? For those who don't know where that is, it's down on Heckman Street, closer to Roseberry. Okay, need a roll call? We have a motion?
Councilman Kennedy?
Hold on, you need a motion?
Motion.
Motion, we need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Scarbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Ordinance for the first reading, 02024-21. An ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, amending Section 67-23, Schedule 7, stop intersections of the Code of the Town of Phillipsburg, and to add stop intersection on Schultz Avenue at Irwin Street and Bartlett Street at Mindale Street.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on council? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Scarbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. First reading ordinance 02024-22. An ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg amending Chapter 29, Development and Fees.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on council? I do. I have a comment. Put it on the record that these fees haven't been increased since 2014, so we're finally coming into the modern ages. Roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Scarbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes, before we do resolutions on the consent agenda, I'm pulling resolution 2024-176. And we're adding resolution 2024-177. Resolution authorizing a contract with Van Cleef Engineering Associates for Mercer Street Park improvements, engineering, design, and survey. Second edition, resolution 2024-178. Resolution authorizing a contract with Van Cleef Engineering Associates for Brainerd Street Park improvements, engineering, design, and survey. You need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Scarbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Old business, Councilman Kennedy?
I don't have anything.
Councilman Scarbo?
I don't have anything at the time.
Council Vice President?
Nothing.
I have nothing. New business, Councilman Kennedy?
Yeah, you sent it to consent.
New business.
Consent,
We just did it.
You didn't do
There's-
resolution?
There was 3 missed.
yeah.
Okay, I
And
don't have
did
one.
you ask if we were pulling anything?
Oh,
You just pulled the one,
He pulled it.
Just
but
one
then
more.
added the two that are there,
Yeah, can I get
177.
175 pulled, please?
Oh, well, we're past that.
We're past that. We did the resolutions, I asked.
Yeah, he asked.
I even read the 2 new ones.
Okay.
But, you know, I believe in fairness. I don't believe in partisan politics. What would you like to pull that?
Well, I just had some questions regarding it. First things first, I kind of agree with Mr. Meyner. 6 vehicles is a lot in 1 year. You're looking at $406,000. And specifically, I have no problem with a fire truck. I have no problem with a fire truck. And specifically, I want to know, what is the white regular cab 4x4 pickup truck for?
Okay, I'm not the mayor, I don't run the town, so I can't answer you here. But you can contact them and find out. And then I will answer when you're done with that about vehicles.
Okay, well, what I would like to see happen, instead of replacing a good portion of the fleet here all in one shot, perhaps we can replace just a couple of vehicles, and maybe next year look at doing 2 more, or maybe 2 more a year after that. Because we're discussing not having enough money for signs to enforce the truck route, and then we're spending all in one shot $406,000 in trucks.
Mayor, excuse me, let me answer that. I was considered an expert in federal vehicles for 25 years. We had a rotation schedule. The town obviously did not have that rotation schedule. And if you have a vehicle out there that's not fit for the road and any injured employee gets there, we're going to get sued. So I don't think it's this administration or this council's problem what was done in the past, number one. Number two, if you ever sold new and used cars, which I have 5 years experience, a pickup truck now, it goes anywhere between $45,000 and sometimes $70,000. Secondly, if you ever sold Ford pickup trucks, you cannot put a plow on a 150. So that's why they go to the 350, and if you're plowing a hill, you're not going to plow it with a 250. That's coming from people who sold them and drove them. So I understand your problem with money as well as everyone does, but Councilman, on that though, it was read for the record so that we can't play politics that you weren't aware of it. And I let you speak because I believe in that. But with a question like this, what I'd like to see council do is call it during the day and find it out. Okay? They're in need. Is it a lot of money? Yes. There's nothing cheap in vehicles today. Try to go get them with a plow and all that. I think this is going to be good if you do get a lot of snow. You just can't plow every street with some of this equipment. It's not equipped.
Well, there's no partisan politics involved. This is strictly what it costs for these vehicles, and it costs the taxpayers. This money doesn't belong to DPW, it doesn't belong to the administration. That money comes from the taxpayers. And I'm just trying to hold the line on the cost that maybe we don't have to put out for all these vehicles in one shot. That's the point I was trying to make.
The point is, there should be a rotation. It's not the mayor's fault. He was not the mayor last year.
I'm not blaming anybody. I'm
Okay,
saying
there should be a rotation period. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But if you need the vehicles, you need the vehicles. They're not going to be any cheaper next year or the year after. Mayor, I'll let you talk.
So, yeah, the funding mechanism is through capital. They were approved in previous years, so it's for a very specific purpose. When your capital budget has to be passed separately from your operating budget. These were passed in previous years for this very specific purpose. They weren't utilized, so we're now utilizing those past ASSED capital funds for the purpose they were supposed to be utilized for, but were not.
Okay, well,
I'll get you the years and the fundings if you want to have it.
I just want to kind of quote Council Vice President Paulus, which she said on another issue. I forget specifically what it was for, but she said, and I agree with her on this, just because it's in the budget doesn't mean you have to spend it. Okay, so that's how I'm looking at this.
I respect you for that, but what I'm saying is, if you've ever dealt with vehicles, They should have been rotated all through the years, they weren't done. So we're catching up to things that
When
should have been
something
done.
is allocated for capital, it's sitting there. It's not like you have to, it doesn't go into future tax rate. It was already allocated and put aside for that purpose. So that money is there for that. It's not going to affect this tax rate or future tax rate.
Mayor, would you explain to the audience what capital projects are?
So
You have it on the school board, and you have it on town government.
So
It's money set aside for when you need it, you have it.
So, yeah, certain things have certain cost and life value. Anything over 5 years, in most cases, are put into capital. They have a life expectancy of at least 5 years and I think $15,000. When it gets to buildings, you're looking at 30 years and X amount of dollars. But there's a schedule of what can fall under capital. These vehicles always fall under capital. Sometimes light poles, sometimes road repairs, things of that nature. Things that have certain life expectancy and cost and meet both those requirements.
And under state contract.
Well,
Council President,
May I?
No, hold it. Councilman.
can I ask the mayor a question pertaining to this?
Sure.
So when was the last time we purchased new vehicles for DPW?
there is a white truck that was purchased a couple of years ago.
So it's been a couple of years.
There's some trucks. I think one of our oldest vehicles is for 2005.
2005?
Yeah, there's some vehicles. They really have kept them running for a long time.
Okay, thank you.
It's still, I mean, we've always had good mechanics, good maintenance schedule on the vehicles, and it's to the point where if you look at some of the bills list, you'll see a lot of replacement parts, welding materials to keep the bodies kept together, things like that.
Councilman Kennedy, you brought up a good point. Mayor, what I'd like to see is a bi-monthly report on the vehicles. Every vehicle should have what they call a vehicle jacket, the repairs and all that, because you do see all these expenses that are occurring. So if you have a vehicle, let's say, with 50,000 miles, in a small community, that 50,000 miles equates to 75, 80,000 miles based on it. So therefore, we can get a system going of rotating the crop as they speak. But if we have a copy of that vehicle jacket, we know if the maintenance was done properly, we know how many miles are on it, and Councilman, that would help you out. You'll see that you'll rotate the vehicles instead of one shot.
Sure, that should have been done all along, so.
Well, none of us ran the town. You know, it's a good statement, but none of us ran the town, so we can't do what they did yesterday. We'll get to it. Any other new business, Councilman?
That's it.
Councilman Skirbo.
I have nothing at this time.
Councilwoman Vice President.
I'd like to propose that we start holding monthly sewer meetings.
And that's a very good idea. I agree with that. Any councilman have any problem with that?
No.
Maybe the first Wednesday of the month?
You have to probably check with
We will.
the professionals and see, but, get a consensus as to what is going to work for everybody else.
Okay. We'll look into that this week. I think it's a great idea. And we'll get back to council at the 11th of September meeting. Anything else? Councilman? Nothing?
No, that's it.
Okay, I don't have anything under new business other than everybody have a safe Labor Day and be careful in the streets. All our little kids are back to school. We were up around the Irwin Street area today. Never seen so many kids, so many cars in my life, so be careful. Okay, motions. I'm going to do this in a bulk. Social Affair Permit, First Youth Center, 33rd Annual Fundraiser, September 12th, 2024. Special event, Phillipsburg Eastern Halloween Parade, October 27th, 2024. Special event, annual tree lighting, Chappelle Park, December 3rd, 2024. We have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes, public petitions, anyone want to come up? State your name, 3 minutes. Okay, Dan.
I'll wait. Go ahead, Joe, you're already. Joe Meyner. Now you have money for 6 vehicles put into a hunk of the budget so you can deal with it. You got two that need replacing. I am now gonna take a guess and ask for verification. You're probably gonna buy 2 vehicles this year, and then you'll be backed up to buy 4 as you need them. I'm guessing, but am I close to correct?
Joe, as council president, council can't answer that question, but since the mayor's here and he runs the part of that town, we only legislate the laws. So I think that's what everybody has to understand. We legislate the laws. I hope that we can get them in. So Mayor, would you kindly answer his question?
Nobody's expressed a want to purchase more DPW vehicles next year, at least not yet. We'll have that discussion if they ask, but with this, I doubt we'll move forward with that.
Right. Probably 2 to buy because you want,
These will come in-
two are worn out.
Well,
Spoke up.
yeah, these will, these being put in this year won't arrive until next year.
But we will get all 6 next year.
It depends on, the 450 might take longer, the bigger truck, especially with some of the outfitting, the plow packages, things like that.
And I didn't quite understand it.
Yeah, they won't arrive, if they're ordered now, they won't arrive until next year.
You don't have to buy
Maybe
them.
more.
You can hold off for another 4 years
You have to
until
put
you
in-
actually need the
You have
trucks.
to put in for them now.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
You ordered the money, now you approved the money, if I got it,
Yeah,
and now you don't have to spend it till you need the trucks.
there's,
But you can because you,
So I think what happened was, there was capital ordinance in previous years setting aside the money for, the money's already been set aside in previous years. This is a resolution authorizing the purchase of the vehicles. So the money's already set aside, now this is authorizing the township to go out and actually purchase the vehicles, so they will be purchased, right?
is that dated? It is dated. The purchase order is then dated. It's not an open purchase order. It is dated. They're going to buy 6 vehicles then?
well, they can't issue a purchase order until council authorizes this. Purchase order, so they would need council's approval to
Which is
make.
what this is.
Yeah, so it would go requisition by department head and certification of funds. It would, CFO would sign off on it, and then a purchase order would be completed, sent to the vendor. That's a legally binding contract that would come back saying that they, at certain spec, whatever that is, they agree to the spec, we agree to the spec, and the price, and they'll give us a time frame based on when they can deliver.
I didn't hear you mention when the council has that final right of approval of actually buying that vehicle.
There is no, this is the authorization to allow the mayor and the administration to actually execute it.
But there is no obligation by the mayor to actuate a purchase until somebody thinks it's necessary. Am I
The
correct?
council approved for the mayor to purchase them.
So resolutions
Can,
are year to year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so the
1
resolution
year.
would expire at the end of this year, because resolutions do expire at the end of the year.
Yep.
And if the money is not spent,
It would just remain in their capital budgets.
it would, but it would remain in the capital budget.
Yes. Yeah.
That's where it is right now.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have to pay for it because
The
it
money's
didn't
already
get
there,
spent.
Joe.
You've already paid for it though, because the money's already set aside.
Right.
Well, it's still our money until you spend it.
Understood.
Okay?
Thank you, thank you.
Anyone else?
Oh, he'll know he'll.
Hi, Bill Benz. Just a question for clarity. It has to do with, and again, financials and municipalities are quite complex, I understand that. As the capital exists in the form for the vehicles, are there any other budgets, any other accounts on the books of the municipality that provide that kind of access to cash, access to resources, besides truck?
There are some that are very specialized, like trusts, like our sewer trusts, things like that, that would be for sewer payments, but there's also, I think there's a community event trust, and those are, they can carry over from year to year. Say if somebody donates money, it can be put in that trust, and wouldn't go back into the general fund year to year. So those trusts keep the money set aside for a very specific purpose.
So we could have this other conversation with the same outcome without increasing our tax base for a different purpose. And I'm thinking of land use, for example. If you were to decide to buy, based on the 2% tax per annum for each of the buildings we pay for every year, isn't that in a trust? Is that what you're referring to?
For land use?
The one
Open
that-
space.
Oh,
The
open space. So
tax?
open space actually goes into the, is it separate?
It is separate.
Okay. But I brought up sewer. Sewer has its own capital. So the pump, we're in the process. We've had to use a pump down at Mercer Street. We've been renting it. It's very expensive to rent. At some point, right now, it becomes more cost effective to purchase that pump to keep that water out of there. So but since it's a pump that can be utilized for sewer issues, and it is a stormwater issue, that we can utilize sewer capital budget to make that purchase.
So essentially they're reserves.
They in some instances, yeah,
Okay.
like sewer capital could be.
Again, I understand it can be complex.
Yeah, there's also grant accounts as well, but those are extremely focused on whatever the grant is supposed to be utilized for, the scope of that grant. So the grant would have its own, there's escrow accounts, but those are extremely focused as well.
Thanks for the clarity.
Anyone else? Dan?
No, it was answered, thank you.
Good evening, David Morrisette, 5 Fairview Heights, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. I would like to clarify some comments made by residents in previous council meetings. There have been 2 lawsuits filed by myself and my wife on behalf of the Phillipsburg Environmental Watch Group. Lawsuit 1 was filed against the first warehouse ordinance in June of 2021, and lawsuit 2 was filed in December 2022 against the second warehouse ordinance. Lawsuit 1 against the May 2021 warehouse ordinance is still active, although in abeyance. A resident stated that lawsuit 2 was a frivolous lawsuit and that the judge had taken all the teeth out of it. Well, we, representing Phillipsburg Environmental Watch, fighting for the residents of the flats, residents along South Main Street, St. James Avenue, and New Brunswick Avenue, won the second lawsuit, and the November 22 warehouse ordinance was vacated. Now the town is on the verge of potentially passing yet another warehouse ordinance. The warehouse ordinance that you are potentially going to pass is functionally the same as the warehouse ordinance that is subject to the suit filed in June 2021. The issues before the court in the last brief filed in the June 2021 lawsuit is that members of council, in particular Frank McVey and Robert Fulper, who voted for the May 2021 warehouse ordinance, are alleged to have voted with a conflict of interest due to having been represented by the Steinhardt Ferrucci law firm. Now, for some reason, council appears to be trying to pass another ordinance. In the current potential ordinance, the ordinance states that it believes that the June 2021 lawsuit has no merit. If the June 2021 lawsuit has no merit, then why does it appear the town continues to do everything possible to avoid letting the June 2021 lawsuit run its course and let the judge make a decision? Is it because there are people who believe the town will lose the June 2021 case and do not want to see Frank McVey and Robert Fulper dinged with voting with a conflict of interest? Is it because there are people that don't want to see that Frank McVey and Robert Fulper may have been given bad legal advice when told they could vote?
Excuse me, Dave, your time is up.
And would not have a conflict of interest. Please let the lawsuit run its course.
Anyone else?
I'm still Dan Boyce from Phillipsburg. I was the one that made the comment about the frivolous lawsuits, and I stand by my comments, okay? Whatever the case may be, the way I understand it, a lawsuit wasn't won. The judge just suggested that the zoning board go back and look at things again. That doesn't mean it was won. Now, speaking on behalf of the benefit for the people who live down in the flats, I wish I had a diagram I was planning, but if you can picture the flats right in this area, and what your concern is the trucks and the diesel fumes, running right along here is Route 22 that is filled with tractor trailers every day. Right along here is Route 78, running tractor trailers every day, day and night. Going right through here, a couple other areas, you got diesel locomotives running. Anybody knows that the soot leaving all of these vehicles is heavier than air, which means it drops. So from 78, it's dropping right down onto the flats now. It makes no difference what a warehouse is going to do or traffic. Okay, you got your truck route planned, approved for a bunch of yo-yos that said they don't want trucks on Center Street, which I can understand, but you have to go back and look at Phillipsburg, which was long before I lived here, when right in that Center Street area, the vicinity, Center Street, Sickgrave Street area, you had at one time at least 10 different industries that trucks used those streets. What if those industries were still being used? What would you be saying now? Okay, you want Phillipsburg to go back to the way it was, but you're preventing Phillipsburg from going back to the way it was. Another resident mentioned, you don't want the pollution, then ban all gasoline-powered engines. And maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe council needs to put an ordinance outlawing everything gasoline-powered, meaning cars, trucks, lawnmowers, weed whackers, and everything, which then you're going to force residents to buy sheep and cattle to eat the grass, which is going to produce an enormous amount of methane gas, which will erode the ozone, melting the polar caps, and Phillipsburg is going to be flooded anyhow. So it really doesn't matter. You might as well just build the warehouse and let people live happily ever after. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Kelly Craven from 58 Sickgraves. Is this even on?
No. Yeah.
From Sickgraves. I want to say thank you for letting me have Sneaker Day with the community this last Sunday at Walters Park. It was a huge success. The community wants to thank you, but the community all couldn't come in here today. So yeah, there's a big sneaker outside, and there's markers. So I would love for everybody in this room to put all of our differences aside and go out there on your way out and sign your name on that sneaker, draw a picture, a smiley face, whatever the hell you want, and have a good night after you're done signing it. Of course, right? It's right in the doorway, so we can't miss it. Outside the doorway, I mean. But I want to thank you. I want to thank Matt Knoll. He's not here. And all the volunteers and the support that came with Sneaker Day, because this was the second one we did, and we got approved to do s'mores in the park too on December 14th. So I need volunteers and donations. I have the list of stuff we need. If you want to be a part of it, I'd appreciate it. The community does appreciate it. Last year, s'mores in the park, Mayor Piazza was there. He could see how the turnout was, and I believe this year it would be greater. So it's something that's part of a change in a small way, but yet it's big impact, and it brings people together, and that's kind of like what I like to see happen regardless of who we are. I just want us to come together. And like what Dan said about the whole past, like we can't take the past and bring it now. We can only embrace what we have now and enhance it and make it better. You get what I'm saying? Am I making sense here? I'm probably not to some, but I don't know. I feel like getting together with the community, it's allowing people to believe again that change does exist after they see results of things happening. So that's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none? Council, over time, Councilman Kennedy.
Yeah, first of all, I want to wish everybody a safe and happy Labor Day. I do have a couple of announcements. As many of you probably already know, the Phillipsburg State Miners open up their season September 6th at Maloney Stadium, and it will be a Veterans Appreciation theme night. And at the middle school, in front of the Media Center, there's going to be a Veterans Gathering sponsored by the FFA. So get up there early and stop by that before you go into the game. And also Sunday at Chappelle Park from 10 to 2 will be the farmers market, and we'll have an island destination theme. The Castaway Band will be playing. They're going to have a costume contest, coconut bowling, a prize wheel, totem knockdown, and many more activities. So try to attend that if you can. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Skirbo.
Yes, I just want to thank Kelly and all the volunteers for putting on Sneaker Day. It was a great event. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it because I had to work that day, so hopefully I can make s'mores in the park. It's really great, like she said, we got good press, positive press, Channel 69 News, seeing the smiles on the kids' face, seeing the pictures. That's what P-Burg's about. We got to continue with that momentum and keep doing these events, providing these things for families and children. It was well received. Also, on Monday, August 26th, we had a Rec Advisory Committee meeting and an Open Space Committee meeting. The subjects of the meeting on the agenda were talks about Mercer Street and Brainerd Street playgrounds, 2025 youth recreation programming, arts, music, and recreation, adult recreation, softball league, possibly kickball league, and pickleball. And there was some talk about a volunteer events committee as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Council Vice President.
I also would like to thank Kelly and Dan and all the other volunteers and everybody who made donations. That day, it was very successful. When I was up there, a lot of the kids were there, the parents were there, everybody was having fun. There were absolutely no issues. You know, DJ was there, so I'm sure, you know, that was, you know, a donation of their time. I think it was a great event, and as Councilman Skirbo stated, the press was very positive, and I hope it continues. So thank you for all of your efforts and time that you put into it, as well as happy, safe Labor Day to everybody. And I'll yield the rest of my time to the mayor.
I forgot to ask something. I just wanted to, from our rec and open space meeting the other night, I just wanted to ask council if we can start exploring. We need a change of use, I think, in the Pohat property for, we need to go to Pohat for the disc golf proposal. We'd like to talk to them about, since we own the property, it's technically in Pohat County, we do need to go to that municipality for some approvals and permissions. And we'd also like to start looking at trying to get proposals for the environmentals on a couple of the park remediations. So if nobody has any issues with that, we'd like to maybe start exploring those items.
Anything positive for the town, go for it. Get it done as soon as possible. I hate delay. I hate delay. Get it done. Okay, I'm going to make this brief. I think anything positive for the community should go behind it. If you want a successful town, instead of complaining, be positive, get these affairs done. Thank anybody that takes the initiative. It's a lot of work, a lot of doing, a lot of finances. It's a real hot day. We were up there. It's a great event. Anything for the kids, because all you do is hear the kids in this town. So if we're going to hear kids, let's get them what we can afford to get them. There's a lot of things coming up that are going to be costly. They're going to be really costly. They're going to be because of the neglect of prior administrations. So I want you to be prepared for it, so when you come, you're going to get told the truth, so help us God, whether you like it or not. Because it's not easy to sit here, you want to go on Facebook, I could care less. if you have something to say, you're going to say it right up here to our face. So I want to prepare next month, the 11th. There's going to be some things coming up, and they're not the result of this council or this mayor. So I just want to forewarn everybody, so when you want to throw the darts, I'm a big boy, I can handle it. Okay, with that, no executives. Joe, you got to tell it like it is. This candy stuff, you know, you can't do it anymore. I know it. There's no executive session. Everybody have a safe holiday. Enjoy yourself. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night.